This is upon further review from USCHO. And here's your host, Ed Trefsker.
Welcome to USCHO's Upon Further Review, podcast where we catch up on things we didn't have time for in Monday's edition of Weekend Review. I'm Ed Trefsker alongside Jim Connolly and Derek Schooley. This episode is sponsored by the NCAA Men's Division I Frozen for April 9th and 11th in Las Vegas. Get your tickets at ncaa.com/mfrozen4. Well, guys, we're going to talk about superlatives, who did some big things in the first half of the season. And I guess we're going to start out with a big question right up front. Who's your team of the first half? Lots of candidates, teams like Dartmouth at 11-1, Michigan number 1 overall, Wisconsin, a strong season, a surprise season for Minnesota Duluth, throw in North Dakota, throw in Miami and Union. Maybe they fall in some other categories, but who's your big team of the first half of the season?
Well, I think you're going to assume I'm going to say Dartmouth, but I'm not going to. I've been actually picked the team that maybe I didn't expect to see at the top. I'm seeing them really close. Wisconsin, they stand out to me, and we haven't probably given them enough praise this season. You know, we've talked so much about Michigan and Michigan State. We've talked about Western Michigan because they're the defending national champs. We've talked a lot about Dartmouth because of their run to start the season. And we've talked about teams like BU, Maine, and Minnesota for what they haven't done this year. But I think we've kind of lost Wisconsin, and that weekend sweep of Michigan State was nothing short of miraculous, and a massive weekend, opened a lot of eyes across the country. So Wisconsin's my team. There's a lot of respect out there for many other teams, but I'm going to go with Wisconsin.
I'm going to go with North Dakota, and a lot of people probably would have thought I would have went somewhere else, probably Western Michigan, probably thrown out the alma mater. But I think the one thing reason I'm going to go with North Dakota, new coach. Obviously, starting with a new coach is always a challenge. But to do what they've done with their record, obviously, St. Thomas, they beat right off the bat, which is a hard team they've been really good. But the last 6 games, undefeated. Bemidji, they beat twice. St. Cloud twice. Omaha, they're red hot going into the break. I don't see them cooling down against Mercyhurst. Colorado College, big challenge. Denver, Arizona State. My team in the first half with a new coach, really top 4 team right now, would be a number 1 seed if it was today, is North Dakota.
Well, I'm going to go with a team that probably is obvious, but it wasn't obvious to me before the season, and that's Michigan. They're number 1 in the poll, number 1 in the NPI after Dartmouth's loss. Horkoff, Hage, Hughes, each with 28 points. They're getting great goaltending. They are just firing on all cylinders, which is appropriate for a team in Michigan, I guess. But, they are the team of the first half of the season, and maybe they are the team to beat the rest of the way through. It would not surprise me to see them as one of the 4 teams in Las Vegas. It would probably surprise me more if they didn't make it to the Frozen Four. So I got to give it to the Wolverines in the first half of the season as the team. But any of those, and, I didn't even mention Michigan State. They split a weekend with Michigan that moved them from first to third in the poll, but they're right up in there too, and you could make a case for them. Well, how about the biggest plot twist for the season? What did you absolutely not see coming in September? Some we've talked about: Dartmouth's rise, Augustana in the top 15 in the NPI, Miami right back as a competitive team, although they're finding a little struggle in the NCHC right now. What's something that's happened that you didn't expect?
My biggest plot twist, I'm going to go right off the bat, is the preseason poll in the NCHC. And this is kind of a difference because it's not just one team. Miami picked last. They're doing outstanding. Minnesota Duluth picked 6th. They are red hot, and right now they'd be in the NCAA tournament. North Dakota picked 3rd. Western Michigan, not as number 1. They're not as good. So kind of kind of taking the preseason poll and saying it might be a little bit flawed. And that's kind of my plot twist of that, saying it's not, kind of proving the pollsters wrong.
Yeah, I've got to go with my favorite team of the first half, Dartmouth, the way that, I've talked about them. I've pumped their tires for the last month, really. What Reed Cashman has done with that program, we've mentioned it a lot, losing that season during COVID, which was his first season on staff after Bob Gaudette retired. To see what that team is now, they really play with some great pace. They can win different types of hockey games. I know that they would have loved to be 12-0 at the break, but 11-1 in that one loss coming in overtime on the road to a good New Hampshire team. I think that this Dartmouth team is fun to watch. Right now, I hope that we can say that they're an NCAA tournament team. I said it on Monday, a team at 2 in the NPI right now doesn't feel like they're going to go on some sort of a negative run that'll push them out. I think we're going to see an NCAA tournament bid for Dartmouth. That right there, it's been a long time. That would be exciting.
I'm going to go with Wisconsin. I did not expect the Badgers to come back all the way back, if you want to put it that way. I expected them to be a better team, fixing a couple places where they had some holes, and maybe seeing them as maybe a top 15 team right about now. There they are at number 2. Mike Hastings has got everything going the right direction. This is the team we expect out of Wisconsin now, but at the beginning of the season, I thought it might be a season or two before they got back up there. So that's kind of a plot twist I did not expect going into this season.
Runner-up in there? How about at Christmas that a runner-up would be 4 ECAC teams in the top 16 and only 1 Hockey East team? That would be a major plot twist. Who had that on the bingo card in Vegas, using the Vegas Frozen 4? Anybody have that on their bingo card?
No, and the ECAC run is impressive out of the gate, and I'll just leave Hockey East alone for now.
So also talking about a plot twist, we might be asking the same question come March. What was the biggest plot twist of the second half? What might that be? We're not going to go into it, but I'll just plant the seed that last season, the big plot twist was Penn State, which was nowhere near the conversation at the semester break last year and then made it to the Frozen Four. I wonder if somebody's going to do that this year.
I'd love to see it. I thought the Penn State story last year was one of the most fun to follow in getting them to a Frozen Four. So, yeah, I hope we get one like that, Ed. I certainly would love a second half plot twist.
Let's go to our third category before we take our mid-episode break. What's the most worrisome big brand? In other words, what big name program, traditional power or recent days power, what one concerns you the most heading into 2026?
There is 0 chance I'm touching this one. 0 chance. Not even maybe as a coach am I going to touch this. Can you imagine the text messages? This is Christmas time. I am not going to touch this. I'm not getting any phone calls. I'm not getting any texts. No chance. This is on you guys. This is a media question. Got it. Go.
I'll take the bait and I'll take the media angle on it too. And maybe I can make this selection because I know the coach well enough to know that he's probably frustrated with his team, and that's Ben Barr up at Maine. I think this is a really good Maine team this year, and they've been bolstered by players like Justin Poirier coming into the lineup and having immediate impact out of the CHL. But right now, they aren't consistent enough, and that is what concerns me. I want to see more consistency from Maine. They can't, they played a lot of home games in the first half, 4 home losses at Alphon. That's so uncharacteristic in recent years for Ben Barr. So I think that is the one team that we really need to see more from in the second half. I know there's a couple of other big brands in there, but I think, to your point, Derek, it is Christmas time. I'm not trying to crap on anybody here, to be honest with you. But I think Ben Barr would be realistic and say, my team's not consistent enough yet.
You know what? I'm going to throw in there, and right now they're 8-10, 4-4 in the Big Ten. But after they come back from the semester break, and a single game against Bemidji. They've got 2 games at Penn State, then 2 games at home against Michigan, then 2 games at Michigan State, and then 2 home games against Wisconsin. And that is going to be a really difficult stretch. If they can go 500 through that stretch, then they're kind of treading water. If they can sweep or get like 4 or 5 out of 6 points at home and split on the road, then maybe they're picking up some steam. But I did not expect them to be off to what is sort of a sluggish start for the Golden Gophers. So that's my worrisome big brand. And you know what? If you want to throw in an honorable mention, since Derek didn't pick one, let's put BU in there. You know, coming back from the championship game last year to be kind of hovering around 500, they're really going to have to put a few W's in the W column on the way out, or they're going to be in trouble to even make the postseason in the NCAAs.
Yeah, the one thing I'll note too, Ed, is, you know, when we look at the Hockey East brands, they're doing so in a league that everybody feels like they're struggling. Minnesota is doing so in a league where you have 3 elite teams in Michigan, Michigan State, and Wisconsin. So the comeback for Minnesota feels like it's a little bit more of a challenge than it is maybe for a Hockey East team that's sitting around the bubble. I think any team that's even around 500 in Hockey East right now probably feels they can win the Hockey East championship, get their automatic bid. I don't know that you can say that for the teams in the Big Ten that are struggling.
Well, we're going to take a pause here for our sponsor, the NCAA Men's Division I Frozen Four, April 9th and 11th in Las Vegas. And when we come back, our first question is going to be, who's the most under the radar fun team?
I'm Cole Caulfield, and I played college hockey.
I'm Adam Fox, and I played college hockey.
I'm Jake Gensel, and I played college hockey.
I'm Cale McCarr, and I played college hockey.
Whether you are a fan or a player, nothing compares to college hockey.
And we're continuing now with Upon Further Review from USCHO. If somebody's looking for a team to adopt in the second half, who should it be? And let me dial that back a little bit. I have a friend whose wife every year has to find a freshman to adopt and then buy that freshman's jersey to wear as one of them at the game through that. So that's a fun thing to adopt. But I guess you can adopt a team. Maybe you don't have a favorite team, or maybe your team isn't going to be in the mix come March or April, and you want to have somebody to adopt. Who's a fun team that has been under the radar that we should be looking out for?
I'll go with New Hampshire here. You know, I really have come to watch this UNH team grow on me over the last 3-4 weeks. They lost a game against UConn at home that I think frustrated Mike Souza, and then went down there, fell behind 3-1 against that same UConn team, came back, won that game. They beat Bentley, they swept Maine, now that they just beat Dartmouth in overtime last Sunday. So they're hot going into the break. They've moved themselves into the top 22, 23 in the NPI right now. I look at this UNH team that if they can get some scoring going, get the really good goaltending performances that they've seen at times from Kyle Chauvette, I look at this UNH team as one that could make a second half run, really surprise a lot of people in Hockey East and across the whole country.
I go out the Robert Morris Colonials. Oh wait, can I do that? No.
Sure. You won't give yourself any angry text if you do, so you can.
I really think a lot of people are underlooking Atlantic hockey and the independents right now. I think there's a lot of really good teams that don't get a lot of. I know Steve Metcalf will go, this is the Atlantic Hockey Weekly, whatever. But you look at down the line. We talked a little bit about Lindenwood. You got Holy Cross at 22. You go down the line of teams, LIU, RIT, Air Force, Bentley. You got teams that are just on the cusp of really making some big strides. And I joke about us. We didn't do very well in non-conference, but we're and Ed, you've seen us play. We're above 500 in league. We're 580 in league. There's a lot of really good teams within striking distance of doing some really good things as independents in Atlantic hockey. So I'm going to throw a whole bunch of teams in this mix that are fun, under the radar Atlantic hockey independent teams.
I'm going to bring up a team that we mentioned as one of the surprise teams of the first half, and that is Union. They've got 12 wins right now, 15 games left. Say they go 8-7, and I think they'll go better than 8-7, maybe 10-5, 11-4 in their remaining ECAC play. But if they go 8-7 the rest of the way, they're a 20-win team. And then that would put them, if they have that kind of a finish, should put them in the top 4 in the ECAC. So they get a first round bye. And then you've got Lake Placid, where anything can go. They are, people have been talking about Dartmouth. Of course, Quinnipiac and Harvard and Cornell are teams that are always mentioned. But this is a resurgent Union team playing in a brand new building this year. And they may be a team that's fun to watch and maybe can make some noise, get into the tournament, win a game or two. Who knows? It could be fun to watch if you are looking for a team to follow.
I think on Friday, I think you're going to really see one that we forgot to talk about. We talked about them on Monday, Augustana, that they should really take feature this week. And that's a fun story, new program, number 11 right now. But they're the feature team this week against Omaha, only game in town.
Yeah, one thing too, Ed, I wanted to mention about Union, going back to Union. They lost their goaltender, Kyle Chauvette. We just mentioned him at UNH. He's a transfer from Union. They have Corpy in there right now, who came over from Michigan. He has really been able to carry the water for this Union team. Really impressive in the first half, so we'll keep an eye on him in the second half.
Our last one, you can go safe, you can go out on a limb. It's up to you. What's the prediction you feel best about for 2026 for the second half? All right, who's going to go first? I think Derek wants to. Go ahead, Derek.
I've been waiting for this one. I gave you this one on Monday. Since we're doing this on Wednesday, you guys were shocked when I threw this out. The Big Ten will win a national championship. Safe or out on a limb? What do you think?
I mean, it feels safe because, you're talking about the conference that has arguably the best teams, but they've had the best teams arguably for many years and not won one. So we'll see. So I think, yes, way out on a limb when you really put it into perspective. I'm going to go a little opposite of this, and it's something we actually saw last year. Bentley did it. A first-time team will qualify for the NCAA field. I don't know which team that will be. Maybe it's Augustana. Maybe it's a team in Atlantic hockey that we haven't talked about that maybe goes on a run, wins the championship, and they get in, make their first bid in the NCAA tournament. Maybe it's the same thing out of the CCHA, or there could just be a crazy team that we're not thinking about that could go on a real run. But I think that this is a year we're seeing enough of the newer programs, the Augustanas, the St. Thomases, Lindenwoods, even Arizona State, Penn State. I know they've been to tournaments and stuff like that, but we're seeing a lot from programs that have popped up in the last 15 to 20 years. That impresses me. I think we're going to see more new blood in the NCAA tournament.
Is Dartmouth, how long has it been since have they been to a tournament?
1980 was the last time they were in.
Okay.
No, Jim, I'm trying to go through the list. You mentioned a first-time Atlantic hockey team. And as I go through all of this, there are only 2 teams in Atlantic hockey who have not been to an NCAA tournament. And maybe one of them was a long time ago, but the ones I find on the list are Army and Sacred Heart. I don't know if Army did way back.
Yeah, Army, I don't believe ever has. Sacred Heart, I would give them a legit chance to be one of those teams this year.
But everybody else, Robert Morris, Mercyhurst, Canisius, Niagara, RIT, Bentley, Holy Cross, and Air Force have all been to the tournament, which actually people are probably forgetting. Anyway, I almost felt like I needed to change my prediction based on what Derek said, but I'll go ahead and say what I was going to say anyway, is the championship game is going to be 2 Big Ten teams. So you'll know if you're right on Thursday, Derek. Thursday, April 9th in Las Vegas, you'll know if your prediction is right. And I guess so will I at that point. But I don't know, because NCHC teams have found a way. And I don't think it's the league. I think it's the teams in the league. The league likes to take credit for what their teams do, but the league doesn't play the games. The league doesn't recruit the players. The league administers and so forth like that. So it's nice to put those plaques up on the wall in the league office, but really it's the teams in the league that are doing it. And they put together a league of powerful teams, which of course now the Big Ten has done. The Big Ten hasn't done anything with it. So maybe this is the year. I guess that's us going out on the limb and all the NCHC fans throwing tomatoes. Well, with that, I think we'll just wrap things up here for this edition of Upon Further Review. It's been a lot of fun doing this new podcast during 2025, and we look forward to seeing you in the new year. I don't know if we sneak one in before the new year or not. I guess we probably won't. We won't have one until the first.
This is probably the last time we'll all be together. So happy holidays to everybody out there.
Yep.
Happy New Year.
Holidays.
And don't forget that our sponsor is the NCAA Men's Division I Frozen 4, April 9th and 11th in Las Vegas, ncaa.com/mfrozen4 for your tickets. For Jim Connolly, for Derek Schooley, I'm Ed Trefsker, and this has been Upon Further Review.